Good morning and welcome to this Wednesday, July 7th, 2021 edition of Let It Be Known. This morning, entrepreneur and chef Liz Rogers envisioned a whimsical two-in-one dessert. I said desert that paired fresh baked pastries with homemade ice cream made with only the freshest ingredients. She took everything she had and created Cream-a-licious. We're going to talk to Chef Liz Rogers this morning about her delicious creations. Of course, first, the news headlines. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated in an attack on his residence, the country's interim prime minister said in a statement issued early this morning. First Lady Martine Moïse was injured in the attack and was receiving medical treatment, according to a tweet by the Haitian embassy in Canada. It is with great sadness that we confirm the assassination of the president during an attack on his residence by mercenaries, the embassy said in the tweet. Our thoughts go to the presidential family and all the nations. In the statement, the prime minister called the attack a hateful, inhumane, and barbaric act and said that Haiti's national police and other authorities had the situation in the Caribbean country under control. President of Haiti assassinated. That was confirmed early this morning. In New York, Eric Adams secured his place as the Democratic candidate in the race for New York City mayor, winning the Democratic primary. Adams, who if elected, would only be the second black mayor of the Big Apple, beat out presidential hopeful turned mayoral candidate Andrew Yang Maya Wiley, who was endorsed by Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and top contender Catherine Garcia. Adams was declared the winner early Tuesday evening based on the latest tabulations, which included most absentee ballots. The former police captain ran a different race from his fellow Democratic candidates as a moderate and campaigned on opposing the defund the police movement. He said, "We're not going to recover as a city if we turn back time and see an increase in violence, particularly gun violence." So Eric Adams is the Democratic nominee for the New York City mayor's office. Also in the news this morning, Sheffield Lake Police Chief Anthony Campo, who was captured on surveillance video placing a Ku Klux Klan note in the jacket of a black officer, has retired. Campo reportedly decided to retire after more than 30 years on the force in the Ohio town of just over 9,000 people and just over 21 miles from Cleveland. We had a very emotional sit down, Mayor Dennis Bring said. He says, because it took us 10 minutes to talk to each other because we were both crying. Bring, who had immediately placed Campo on administrative leave, said at first he did not know why the chief decided to put the note in the officer's jacket. He said, "I don't know why he did it. I really do not. There are no words to describe this." He said the chief maintains it was a joke that got out of hand, one for which Campo still refuses to apologize. But the mayor said I took it very serious, and I asked for his badge and keys. The video, which has been replayed over and over at various news outlets and social media outlets, shows Campo tampering with a raincoat on a desk that appears to be that of a black police officer. He then places a white piece of paper on the jacket with the words Ku Klux Klan, covering a police label on the back. So that sheriff is out of a job this morning. Let us bring on now our president and CEO, Dr. Ben Chavis. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacey. How are you? And on behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Karen Alicious, our distinguished chair, and all of the 230 African-American owned newspapers and media companies across America, we are so pleased to be back on Let It Be Known.
Absolutely. And Dr. Chavis, as we continue the news, Nicole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates have announced they will take on faculty roles at Howard University. President Wayne A.I. Fredericks also said that the school founded a new Center for Journalism and Democracy. Fredericks said, "We are at a critical juncture." Hannah-Jones said, "We are at a critical juncture in our democracy, and yet our press does not reflect the nation it serves and too often struggles to grasp the danger for our country as we see growing attacks on free speech and the fundamental right to vote. In the storied tradition of the Black press, the Center for Journalism and Democracy will help produce journalists capable of accurately and urgently covering the challenges of our democracy with a clarity, skepticism, rigor, and historical dexterity that is often missing from today's journalism. Meanwhile, Coates will teach in the university's College of Arts and Sciences as a Knight Chair in Race and Journalism. So big moves by Howard University as far as journalism yesterday is concerned, Dr. Chavis.
Well, absolutely. Journalism, the arts, communications. I'm proud of my alma mater, Howard University, HU. And so I think that, and I'm so pleased that President Frederick, the distinguished president of Howard University, emphasized the historical and the contemporary mission of the Black press. In order for the Black press to continue its mission of pleading our own cause, reporting the truth, being an advocate for freedom, justice, and equality, we're going to need journalists who also not only know that mission, but adhere to that mission. And so by having Felicia Rashid as the Dean of the School of Fine Arts, and now with Hannah Jones and Brother Coates joining the faculty over there at Howard University, it's going to be great. And I can see the enrollment going straight up. Everybody's going to be wanting to go to Howard University. And we don't refer to Howard as the Black Harvard. We refer Harvard as the Black Howard.
The White Howard.
Howard is setting the not just the mark, but Howard is setting the bar for creative genius, for journalistic genius, for scientific genius. Some of our greatest medical authorities also have come out of Howard University. So this is a great push forward. And the news that you read earlier on the headlines just reflects that systemic racism is still a reality, not only in Ohio, Stacey, but all over the United States. Malcolm X said it best. When it comes to race and the South is anything south of the Canadian border. The whole country is the South when it comes to systemic racism.
Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Chavis also in the news with the backdrop of a published report noting that the overwhelming majority of 16 and 17-year-olds charged as adults in Washington, D.C., they are Black. City Council has moved to take up a proposal by Attorney General Carl Racine to overhaul the way juveniles face justice. Council members plan this morning to consider legislation that would prohibit prosecutors from charging juveniles as adults without a judge's permission and offer other forms of rehabilitation than prison. Carl Racine said that children should be treated like children, including 16 and 17-year-olds, notwithstanding the seriousness of their alleged offense. It was reported, too, that the legislation would apply to teens charged with murder, first-degree sexual abuse, and armed robbery, among other crimes. Currently, the lead federal prosecutor in D.C. can file those kinds of cases directly in adult court without any say from a judge, even if those defendants ultimately plead guilty to lesser charge. We know, Dr. Chavis, that D.C. has no federal prisons of its own, so young people convicted as adults can spend years in other states at great distances from their families. Carl Racine said that the majority of underage defendants charged as adults return home to D.C. before they are 21, but without the benefit of access to educational programs, vocational training, and mentoring they could have received if their cases have been handled in the family courts. So D.C. is looking to overhaul the juvenile justice system.
Absolutely. And I hope other attorney generals of other states will look at the leadership of Attorney General Racine. I think that the juvenile justice system feeds the adult criminal justice system. And disproportionately, this shouldn't shock anybody, but disproportionately, it should shock Black people that our young children, our young people under the age of 18 are disproportionately mass incarcerated, are disproportionately prosecuted, are disproportionately stripped of their voting rights, stripped of their ability, even after they finish serving their time, that felonies stay on their record. It prevents them from having a quality of life. And that's why they wind up back in prison. Recidivism is directly related to how juveniles are treated. And so I'm glad that this is happening in Washington, D.C. I hope the City Council will approve what the D.C. Attorney General is recommending. But I also think this is a national problem, Stacey, and that we need to protect our children. You know, we're the Black press. We're still doing this series on missing Black children,
yes,
and some of our children are missing in the criminal justice system. Quite frankly, they become a statistic. And so this is one way to turn this situation around.
Yeah, and you can read about all of these news items at blackpressusa.com and the majority of our member newspapers around the country. I want to say good morning to Joni King, Annette Phillips, Lynn Spivey, our executive administrator, the wonderful Claudette Perry, and everyone else who's watching this morning, Michelle Madison. We welcome you to Let It Be Known. And we also want to welcome Chef Lynn Rogers to Let It Be Known. Liz Rogers, I said Lynn. See, it's a bad morning, Chef, but you're gonna make it a lot sweeter because Dr. Chavis, she has the best ice cream on the market.
Well, Chef Rogers, thank you, and welcome to the Black Press of America.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning to you.
Good morning. So Chef, first and foremost, tell us about this ice cream. I know there's many flavors, but they are very unique flavors. Tell us the idea behind it.
So the idea behind Cream-a-licious is it's 4 generations of family-owned recipes, pretty much from the South. Just encompasses our history, just love and family, just better times, just stories of just growing up, being with your grandparents and your mom, just being able to just hone in on the history of the South. And just each one of the flavors has their own brand stories, and it's just about real times and real people. I'm just super excited about all of the ice cream that's just been coming out on the market with Creamlicious.
And some of the flavors, Aunt Poonie's caramel pound cake, Slap Your Mama banana pudding, Right as Rain, red velvet cheesecake, Thick as Thieves pecan pie, things like that. I mean, those names make you say, I want to try that. Who came up with these names?
I came up with the names, and it's really interesting because the red velvet cake was definitely a celebration cake when African Americans got their freedom back. There's so many different there's just many different stories about the recipes, such as the porch light peach cobbler. You know, we always leave our porch light on just to say that you're welcome here, that this house is safe, that, it's just a welcoming spirit of just what the desserts encompasses. It's a 2-in-1 dessert. So it's homemade. There's no artificial flavoring, no high fructose corn syrup, and it's really sweet and decadent. So it's more of an indulgence. Creamlicious is more than just a dessert. It's an experience. And it really encompasses that there's a dream in every scoop. I believe that because it's really, really hard to break into the market and be on the shelves. And I just really want people to really go for their dreams, and no matter how hard your dreams are, no matter how wild they are, no matter how big they are, you only get this one life, and just don't be afraid to just really go for it because you don't have anything to lose. Fear paralyzes us. So at the same time, you just have to just live life to the fullest and just make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you mentioned how tough it is to break into this. You are one of just perhaps a couple of African-American owned national ice cream brands in mass production. I know that Creamlicious can be found at Walmart and several other places, but you also deliver, right?
Yes, we do. You can order online, and we do have nationwide delivery. We are expanding our footprint into Target and some other stores. So it is a national brand currently, and it is a national production, mass production. So currently today, Creamlicious is the only African-American ice cream in national production. And I'm really, really hoping to change that because there are a lot of ice cream companies out there that really want to see their pints on the shelf. So I'm hoping to really make sure that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheryl Smith, our publisher out in Texas at the Texas Metro News and iMessenger Media, says we must share this information and support. Sherry Shepard says porch light peach cobbler. Yum. And Patricia Warren says she's so proud of you, Liz. Dr. Chavis, I know you're sitting there, you want some ice cream, right?
Oh, absolutely. First, though, I want to, on behalf of the Black Press, salute and congratulate Sister Rogers on her entrepreneurial success, her creativity, and for her keeping her family legacy for generations alive. You mentioned the South. Talk to us about your family background, your history. Where's the Rogers family originally from?
Everybody's from everywhere, from Georgia to Alabama. It's just really like my grandmother and her sisters, just everyone's everywhere. And I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but Southern food and the roots is what I grew up on, cooking with my mom, and just all of those memories of like the sweet potato pie. I really paid homage to my mom, and just waking up on Christmas and Thanksgiving, and that's the first smell that you woke up to in the mornings, and just really going back to the childhood days of just when the dessert was everything and the peach cobbler was everything. And I remember my mom making like 20 peach cobblers and 20 pies, and they're all lined up on the table, just giving them out to different family members and people in the neighborhood. She baked a lot. And so did my grandmother. She made a lot of different desserts. My godmother made this amazing pound cake. Her name was Aunt Puni, and she baked her pound cake in a cast iron skillet. And what was so cool about this cast iron skillet is, it's passed down for many, many generations. And my
Yes.
sister, Patricia, who just said hi, love you, girl. She actually has her mom's cast iron skillet, and I'm sure that that's going to be passed down. And, we talk about that cast iron skillet, how many cast iron skillets are in our families for hundreds of years, and you don't even understand like the history of it. And I just really get so excited when I talk about just doing something different, thinking outside the box. There's no ice cream on the market like it. And, just really getting out here asking for support so that, Cream-a-licious can be one of the top ice cream companies in the world. It really doesn't stop there.
Right, but thank you so much, Sister Rogers. Where is Creamlicious based? Where are you operating out of?
So I am in Cincinnati, Ohio, but my ice cream, we have a couple of very big manufacturers that's out of Michigan and Washington.
Great. Well, we have a distinguished Black-owned newspaper in Cincinnati, Cincinnati Herald,
Yes.
Jean-Michel Kearney, and Walter White. And we're going to make sure that they help promote Creamlicious, not only in Cincinnati, but across Ohio and across the country. It's just a great news story. We deal in the Black press with a lot of the, not only aspirations, but a lot of the tragedies, a lot of the difficulties, so that we can help overcome. And having you on this morning, you bring another element of why the Black press is so important, because you're covering a position there, a business, a family legacy that we need to continue to lift up. So again, congratulations to your success as being a national brand, Creamlicious. I'm going to go out and find it. I'm in Washington, D.C. I'm going to go find out where I can get that ice cream right here in the nation's capital.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chaffetz. I appreciate you for having me on the show. I commend you. It's absolutely amazing what you're doing, especially for the African American community and the support that you've given. I appreciate you dedicating that part of your life to us.
Thank you. God bless.
Well, and also, what you're doing too is not just making the ice cream, Chef Liz, but you have a diverse team. I understand you employ a diverse team while making a point to work with minority and female-owned businesses. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm really, Creamlicious is a multicultural brand. Ice cream is the world's #1 dessert. I'm all about diversity. I'm all about inclusion and just really supporting and building. Hope is very powerful. We need hope to get us through, especially when we have dreams that are bigger than ourselves. I'm a visionary. So, I see things that other people don't see, and it's all about really owning your greatness and realizing your greatness and understanding what you can be if given the platform and the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to reach out to many different celebrities and athletes and get them to try the ice cream, and just really asking everybody for support because it's not very easy. To be on the shelf or to get shelf space is very competitive. Um, Creamlicious is a super premium ice cream brand. It's a culinary inspired ice cream brand. So when I went in to do this project, I wanted to own my own intellectual property. So I worked with quite a few food scientists to formulate all of the actual formulas and ingredients for Creamlicious that is proprietary to the brand. And one of the things that I have to say today is when we are doing our business, and especially in the culinary world, make sure that you get in there and have something of your own. It's okay to private label, but it's not good to always put your label on someone else's brand because you don't have control over your own intellectual property. So intellectual property and ownership of that is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cherie Shepard says you are breaking barriers. And Cheryl Smith says it's a great story. She loves it, and we do as well. So I know that you have multiple flavors. Is there any new flavor you're working on?
Yes, I have about 55 flavors, but I have a baby listen. My sister helped me come up with that. That's the white chocolate brownie. I also have a strawberry crunch cake. I have a quite cake. Quite cake is the vanilla bean cake. It's a peace offering cake. In the South, they shared this peace offering cake, which was a quite cake. And the white cake was one of the first cakes that anybody ever made in the South. So it's very very it's so cool. Like, I think my ice cream is so dope. And tell Sherry I said hi and to call me. I need to talk to her.
Go ahead, Dr. Chambers. I don't want to jump in. Go ahead.
That's okay. When Chef Rogers talked about intellectual property, I'm going to say I need to bring this sister over to our African American law schools, because you're teaching the importance of intellectual property. A lot of times we give up our legal rights. We're so creative as a people. We're blessed as a people. But a lot of time other people go to the bank off of our creativity, Chef Rogers, which I'm sure you know. In the entertainment world, in the sports world, we don't control enough of our own assets as creative people. And I'm so glad that you not only have done the creative side, but you're also on the business side. And we salute you for that. The NMPA is made up of African-American owned businesses, led by, in many cases, African-American women who are strong entrepreneurs, come from strong entrepreneurial families. Can you just talk about the importance in your life and what you've learned about having the ability to own your own business?
Absolutely. It's what I'm supposed to do. Once a person realizes their purpose, I'm walking in my purpose. This is my passion. A lot of times people do things for money, and money is very important. The success part of it is very important, but you have to work smarter and not harder. I think when I first started, even as a restaurateur and owning restaurants, I actually own a few restaurants as well. I think that I thought that I can do everything myself. And when I talk to other entrepreneurs that want to start a business, everybody wants a business, but a lot of them, they're not even wanting to put the time in just to write a simple business plan. I'll say, well, what's your passion? And their passion probably isn't even what they think they want to do. So, taking that time to build a good, solid, strong foundation. I opened Creamlicious not really for myself and my family, but to help other entrepreneurs with their dream. Building an infrastructure and to be able to accomplish something and to get the support with Creamlicious to garner the money for us to really go in. And yes, I can go in and donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to people and foundations and businesses. But what about the infrastructure? We need legal, we need advisors, we need CPAs, we need people that are going to help us sustain our business. We need a good, strong foundation. We need branding. You can't just go and throw ice cream on a shelf. You have to have packaging. There's no putting stickers on cartons and thinking that you're going to go in and write the ingredients yourself. You need a food scientist to talk about how many calories, and you need to invest, in your brand. But part of that investment is actually finding the right people to help you build a very strong infrastructure, and everything else will fall into place. The money will come. You can have $1 million and be out of business in a year or 6 months if you don't know what you're doing. So you got to have that good support.
Very good. That's a lot of wisdom, and you're giving out a lot of business tips today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Deborah Gilbert White says, thank you for your powerful words and encouragement. And David Youngblood says, great advice. Chef, I'm sure as you've described it, it's not easy. What may have been, when you look back on your journey, what may have been your biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is just really finding that support. Sometimes you can just want something so bad that you're not listening. I'm not an overly spiritual person, but I'm very spiritual. And just, I'd rather do one or two things absolutely amazing than 10 things mediocre. One thing about me is I'm a creative, I'm an artist. So my mind is constantly going, and I'm a visionary. I want things to happen. I want to help people, but I also have to be strong in what I'm doing myself. I've learned a lot of lessons, but that doesn't mean I have to live in my lessons. And you have to absolutely not be afraid to fail. That's the problem, because fear literally paralyzes us and it keeps us from it. People are afraid to try anything or to get up and do something, and because they're afraid to fail. I mean, I feel like while I can't change the world one scoop at a time, I can make ripples in the pond, and my reach is so far. But if I can reach and touch someone, then they can reach, and then we're across the globe. And there's so many things that we can do. I see so many things even in our community that if we join together, even in the restaurant business, and help each other and support. Even if something, I have people call me all the time. How did you get on Walmart shelf? That was crazy. I had people saying, don't call Walmart because they're going to tell you no. I actually got my own Walmart deal. I didn't even use a broker. I called the buyer and I told the buyer my story, because all he can tell me is no,
Right.
but if you don't try, you'll never be able to accomplish anything. So when people reach out to me on Facebook, or they inbox me, or they send messages and they ask me questions about how did you do this, I'm always free to give information, because I don't want anyone else to not succeed. And I think that's our big problem. We have a certain amount of success, and we don't want anybody else to be more successful than we are.
Wow. Words of wisdom from executive chef Liz Rogers. You mentioned fear. Someone once told me, if you break down fear, FEAR, it's false evidence appearing real. Iris Rowley says, Liz had inspired many Black women in Cincinnati. Keep dreaming, Liz. I'm one of them. So you have really touched a lot of people, executive chef Rogers. Dr. Chavis, your closing thoughts.
Well, again, we want to commend our dear sister leader, chef Liz Rogers, for the success of Cream-a-licious. And you living as an example, not only for entrepreneurs, but I detect a little Harriet Tubman in you about overcoming fear. And, so in the business world, in the entrepreneur world, and certainly in the ice cream world now, you are our modern day Harriet Tubman.
Thank you. And we need to live life deliciously, because life is sweet, and if it's not sweet, we just need to keep adding that sugar and making it sweet.
Oh, I love it. Live life deliciously. Executive chef Liz Rogers, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence this morning. Let it be known, remember the words of Maya Angelou: you are the sum total of everything you've ever seen, heard, eaten, smelled, been told, forgot. It's all there. Everything influences each of us. And because of that, I try to make sure that my experiences are positive. We will see you tomorrow.